Now I am starting. Good evening. Now we have to start on this session on carbon footprint, that is global impact monitoring tool, and by which the carbon footprint. This is mandatory. Now it is mandatory by the chemical industries or some pesticide industries, where this carbon footprint is monitoring is mandatory, or they have to they have to show the carbon footprint by their manufacturing industry, or also they have to means declare their carbon footprint apart from the ecological footprint. There are two many different things are there in terms of footprint. One is the handprint, footprint, ecological footprint, then carbon footprint, then LCA. So this carbon footprint is a part of LCA also. Tomorrow we have a session on the same time on LCA. LCA is the life cycle assessment. So for today, this is our organization biome. Sometimes some people are confused with this term BIOHM. This is not biohm, this is biome. And biome is taken from exactly the term is BIOME, biome. Biome is related to the ecology. So we have taken that only OHM, that is home. So the amalgamation of this by means two again. So that is a biome. We have started this newly company in 2018. Before that, I was personally working in different companies related to industries even, and I have worked for EIA. Yeah, if we are talking about EIA, then we have delivered EIA in more than 200 companies for different sector, more than 33 sector. There are 37 sectors are there. So almost I have worked in different sectors, covering nuclear sector even, and steel industry, distilleries, and all pesticide, mining, etc., highways, etc. So, and we are delivering this type of services with the biome, like environment clearance, forest clearance, carbon credit scheme, and this carbon footprint is a part of carbon credit. So, you will learn about what the carbon credit scheme exactly. So here you can see this is related to greenhouse gas emission, and why this greenhouse emission gas emission is important, because now we are feeling the global changes, our global climate changes, and due to this greenhouse gas emission, there is a layer. And in this scenario, I am sharing another content so that one can easily understand. Here, one more content is related to the global warming. You can say you can easily identify or visualize, or simply we can say imagine how this type of condition, what type of condition on the environmental climate sustainability, by which one can go for means this type of calculations and all. So here it is. I am sharing again a new content. Here it is. Yeah. So in this case, can you see? I think it's again a same one. Okay. Can you see this with the one different scenario having greenhouse gas effect? Can you type yes or no in the chat box? With this the means this a type of video GIFs. You can see this is the Earth, and by means heat radiation coming to this Earth, and there is an atmospheric layer, and in this atmospheric layer, here one can feel means due to this CO2, or simply not only CO2, some other different gases, greenhouse gases. There are six big greenhouse gases. When we are producing anything, when we are using, means like we are using mobile phones, we are using number of utilities product in our houses, and these product are manufactured somewhere, and that at that position, at that location, means when these type of processes, manufacturing process are there, then what they are using, you can see they are using raw material, and by using raw material they have to convert this raw material into the product, and this process is known as manufacturing. Here these industries are using the gaseous as a means gaseous, solid, or liquid as a fuel, and they have to use a waste, means water also as a natural resource, and after that they have to dispose that what means they are generating this water into the wastewater, and these fuel like gas or solid liquid, this converts after burning, this convert into some air pollutant contaminants. So here you can realize this, due to this manufacturing of any product, their greenhouse gas emission will be there. So this greenhouse gas emission, due to this greenhouse gas emission, here you can see in this one, these are this is one layer has been already formed due to this greenhouse gas or simply CO2. So this CO2 is having, of course, methane is another one type of greenhouse gas. So here you can see this layer formed on the Earth's surface when sunlight means reaches to the Earth, and after this, the means this layer, after this layer work as a greenhouse. And what is the greenhouse actually means? A layer which allowed the sunlight to enter into, but this not allow, or we can say this is not means there is no the sunlight is not going back, or we can say some part of sunlight is going back. So due to this means there is a generation of heat again and again. So amount of heat it is increasing day by day. So that condition is known as climate change. And on this scenario, I think you are aware about that 1.5 degrees Celsius is there, that is generated by means 1.5 degrees Celsius has been increased in the atmosphere. So that is scenario. Can you see the footprint? I think it is not right. Okay, and now I have to go to the means. Okay. So in this scenario, means in the changing scenario, one can feel, one can just visualize that these type of things are these type of scenario has been created by this only greenhouse gases. So we have to monitor, we have to visualize. Yeah. So here you can see the what is the footprint exactly. By this slide, you can see this the footprint. Footprint is by our foot actually. We have an area of that foot, our foot, that is footprint. But when footprint is added with some other term, then the phrase new phrase will come, and new phrase like carbon footprint or some other ecological footprint is type of different activity. So in case of climate change, increasingly recognized as a major challenge of global scenario, so it is widely accepted that the greenhouse gases GHG emission caused by human or anthropogenic activity, and they have a negative impact on the environment, existing environment. So this this negative adverse impact on the environment due to greenhouse gas emission, we have to calculate the greenhouse gas emission in term of all six greenhouse gas emission in term of only equivalent CO2, tons of CO2, that is known as footprint or carbon footprint. So what is exactly carbon footprint? So total set of greenhouse gases, total set of means six greenhouse gases are there. So these greenhouse gas emission caused directly or indirectly by any organization, by any individual, by any event or process or manufacturing process or product or service, it is known as carbon footprint in cumulative sense. Cumulative, why? Because different attributes are there, different type of entities are there. We are using different utilities, and after that we are also using different transportation. So due to this commuting, transportation, due to loading, unloading, due to the manufacturing process, due to the use of your burning of fuel. So these release greenhouse gas in terms of your six greenhouse gases are different greenhouse gases. So this is making a layer on atmosphere, and due to that only this condition, this global warming condition has been created. So virtually all human activity or any anthropogenic activity causes CO2 emission in any form, and other some other gases that lead to climate change, or we can say lead to 1.5 degrees Celsius increase or in temp in the atmosphere. So recently, this type of global warming has become one of the major concern worldwide. So there are a number of evidences available to prove that the highest portion of this warming is caused by only anthropogenic activity, or simply we can say by the human activity or industrialization. Industrialization is also anthropogenic activity, not a natural resource, natural activity. So, calculating the CFP, that is carbon footprint, is a valuable first step toward the making quantifiable emission reduction, because it denotes how human react on the global warming as a person, as an organization, as a country, or as an individual entity even. So, different type of organization like university, fire brigades, rescue, or any other, or even your manufacturing industry, your e-state or hotel, hospital, society, they are also doing this type of activity to calculate the carbon footprint in terms of equivalent tons of carbon dioxide. So this CFP can be defined as a measurement of a total greenhouse gas emission, and then on that emission we have to think about the reduction directly or indirectly by the anthropogenic activity. So today the biggest threat on our planet is only global warming. Due to the global warming, there is scarcity of so this water and scarcity of food is in this type of this scenario. This risk is increasing day by day. So am I audible to all the participants, right? Can you type yes or no in the chat box? And I request, yeah, very nice. And I request to all the participants, please mute yourself so that all the participants can listen carefully. They cannot hear the background noise. So please mute yourself so that you can also hear carefully. You can have, if you have any question, then you can type in the chat box. We'll take all the question in the last one. Okay. So this industrial revolution and the life cycle of energy. So some issues are there, I think. Someone using mic. Can you can you mute your mic? Yeah, that's good. Okay, thank you very much. So now on Wednesday, 16 February 2005, or simply we can say after 8 years, under in Kyoto, there is one discussion on global warming. In Kyoto is the place in Japan. First meeting was held in 1996, 97, and after 8 years, there is one another meeting on 16th February 2005, and there it has been decided by member nations that they will reduce the greenhouse gas emission by 20, means they this is already decided in that meeting. Can you mute whoever joining newly? Please mute yourself so that one cannot hear means the some background noise is there. So I request all the participants again and again, please mute your audio video as well, whatever you are using, so that one cannot hear your voice or background noise. So can you do this, whoever? Because by means from my side, I need to go to the again control panel, so it will take some time. And to determine the major sources and sink region precisely, the worldwide measurement of in term of CO2 only, that is equivalent CO2. So this concept of green this carbon footprint has been emerged, and some requirement is there, like as per international standard organization like ISO 14064, ISO 14067, and some another international requirement, that is PAS past 2050, and under GHG protocol. GHG protocol is the Kyoto protocol only. So under this is also required. So here you can see what are the actually climate change. Climate change, what are the impact of this climate change? Carbon footprint has become a widely used concept in general public on responsibility and abatement action against global warming. In last few years, now it is mandatory by the ministry for all chemical industries or pesticide industry or API pharma industry to have the carbon footprint, and there are a number of players in carbon credit scheme, because this carbon footprint comes under carbon credit scheme. So we'll discuss about, but before this we have to understand what the climate change, what are the major impacts. So due to the rapid industrialization, due to the major anthropogenic activity, there is increased in energy consumption, because when we are increasing in the industry, then immediately this will increase the energy consumption, right? Because everything, when we are doing any activity, even today we are using this type of platform, online platform, then again energy is required, right? So means if you analyze during COVID-19 situation, then you can see the use of internet is on a high, means it is of course if you compare with the in the month of November 19 or December 19, with the April, May, June month of 2020, then you can realize now it is increased up to 400 times or 1,000 times than your November usage of internet. So that means you are using more energy to this internet or something like that. So this more energy is required when you are using any type of other activity. Of course, some other activity like transportation has been stopped. So your energy in transportation is already being avoided, or simply we can say the zero null and void. So that is another one thing. But due to the huge demand, because population is increasing, and it is estimated by 2050 there will be 9.1 billion this population will be there. So to fulfill the requirement food supply, there will be a problem, because for not only food supply, we have to supply other amenities also. One is the shelter, then food, then some utilities, like some products also. To supply those products, we have to have increase the production. Otherwise, we have to have more industries. If more industries will be there, then energy consumption will be there. So that means this increasing the energy consumption. When you are increasing energy consumption, then CO2, the other greenhouse gas emission, will be increased automatically, because you are for energy generation you need to burn some fuel, you need to do some other activity. By that activity you have to have increase your greenhouse gas emission. And this greenhouse gas emission, as I told in the previous slide, that this these all six greenhouse gas emission will form a layer, or not will, this is doing, this is of course currently it is being happen. They are means making one layer, and by making this layer the energy will come to the earth, but this will not reflect again, or this will not back to the atmosphere. So due to that the this reason, the temperature of this atmosphere or earth surface will increase so high. When this will increase so high, then what will happen? Three major things will happen. One is sea level will increase, and of course what will happen when sea level will increase? You can see it is also estimated by 2050 that if we are increasing in this ratio only, in this ratio, that is temperature is rising day by day or yearly, on yearly basis, then what will happen? By 2050, approx 5 kilometer on the coastal area will be submerged with the flood, due to flood, without doing any activity, without doing anything, because temperature is rising. So glacier will of course melt due to the rising of this global potential global rising of this temperature, a global warming. So, and first thing is this, and second is changes in wind pattern and as well as precipitation. You are now feeling that some wind pattern has been already changed, and also precipitation pattern is also changed, because when means at some places the wind is already happening, but it is not the month of, or we can say that this is non monsoon month, but precipitation is already happening, so, and some part of India. So that is also pattern has been already changed. And if this happen, like wind pattern and precipitation will be changed, then what will happen? Change in crop yield, means this will reduce the crop yield. When this crop yield will be reduced, then what will happen? The scarcity of food are simply, you can imagine now in this condition, are simply a week before we are just standing in a row for purchasing a grocery or some material, a article, food items from the stores or from the vegetable market or from vegetable shops. Means all the person, not they, every person, every single person are just worrying about the food only in this COVID-19 situation. So after 2050 or after few years, what will happen? The same situation will happen again. Every person will think about the food only, will not think about anything, because food scarcity will be there. So some less food will be there and population will be more. So the per capita, the food quantity will be very less. So we have to think now only. We have to after thinking we have to act. Not we are thinking. We have to, of course we have to think, but after thinking we cannot sit. We have to act, we have to do some action to reduce the greenhouse gas emission from the industry or from any individual service, or from any manufacturing process, from the society, from the urban area, from the rural area, from the agriculture, anything, whatever we are doing. So we have to reduce those greenhouse gases. But how we can reduce? First, we have to quantify. For quantification, we have to know about, we have to aware about that what are the scenarios, what are the methods to calculate. So here you can see six main greenhouse gases are there: carbon dioxide, of course, methane, nitrous oxide, HFC, PFC, and also sulfur hexafluoride. These are the six main greenhouse gases. Here you can see the potential of that due to transportation, due to burning of fossil fuel combustion, coal and crude oil, the CO2 will be emitted. In case of this methane gas, you can see some, this is also releasing from agriculture, natural gas system, landfill. So this mainly from this landfill, the greenhouse gas emission, and also from the agriculture. This means this pie diagram also showing the percentage in term of percentage only. So HFCs from your, this is of course substitute of ODS, but some conductor, semiconductor manufacturing, then they are using HFCs, CFCs. So at hydrofluorocarbon, these are also means in using in refrigeration or some any other material. So that is the main source. And nitrous oxide, like from manufacturing, some agriculture, soil management, they are also this from cars also, means the from transportation. And PFC is from aluminum production, and SF6 is from electrical transmission, and from magnesium means some plants are there, so this can be released, emitted from that activity. So you have to understand from which source these are coming. And under Kyoto Protocol, there is a concept carbon credit. So that is the scheme under only Kyoto Protocol. And here, first serious attempt, we can say it is on international level to address the climate change through the reduction of greenhouse gas emission only. So these six greenhouse gas emission under this Kyoto Protocol, any member nation who are the member nation, of course, members of this Kyoto Protocol, under Kyoto Protocol, they have already take place to reduce the carbon emission by 2020. That is carbon means current year, that is about 1.2 million tons. It was decided in 2012 at Doha, Qatar, under this second meeting of Kyoto Protocol. So also the CFE is required as per ISO 14064. Here you can see two ISOs are there, but it is the series of means 14064 and 67. So as per the ISO 14064, it is the standard developed under ISO only, and it is for emission carbon emission reporting system. So we have provided the link of the standard. If you are if need to read the whole standard of what this says about, then you can go from this link. You can download this whole standard ISO 14064 from this link only. Direct link is there. So about the ISO also, exactly it is non-NGO type. NGO means like WHO is also NGO, and ISO is also NGO. It is not any type of governmental agency. It is non-governmental organization. The head office at Geneva. So this works for the standards only. Means at international level, and now it has more than 16,000 standards. It is of course well known. ISO is 9,000 and 9001. These are the most well known popular ISOs, and one for 14,000 series is also for related to environmental management. So under this only, all the means series of 14,000 is related to environment management only. So the CFP is also related to environmental management. So under this 14,064 ISO part 1, this is part 3 of course, and 21 subsection under this ISO 14,064. The principles serve to assist in both interpretation of the standard as well as the general guidance for addressing issues on climate change or simply greenhouse gas reduction. Also, this identifies three key aspects by developing a greenhouse gas inventory of the organization, inventory boundary, then quantifying the greenhouse gas emission, and after that you have to go for reporting the greenhouse gas emission. So under this ISO 14,064, for any business, for any manufacturing industry, for any even process or any means event means like marriage or any function, celebration, party. So we can calculate CFP for any process, and it is for quantifying the and reporting the greenhouse gas emission. These are three parts. One is the inventory, second one the quantifying, and third is for after verifying you have to go for claiming your gas emission or reduction. And for gas greenhouse gas reduction, you have to go for under three. There are three schemes are there. This is known as carbon credit scheme, and this carbon scheme under Kyoto Protocol is based on two entities. One is the allowances basis, and second one is the project basis. So allowances means directly they can buy. They can one means between two developed country they can trade. That is known as international emission trading. And here in India, this known as ETS emission trading scheme. It was launched in 2012 for as a pilot scheme in three states, that is Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Maharashtra. And after that, now it is applicable to whole India. So this scheme means it is on international level, but under this Kyoto Protocol only. So India has launched this scheme with the name of ETS. So I think you are aware about ETS and OCEMS. OCEMS is Online Emission Continuous Monitoring System, OCEMS, SEMS. And this has been already installed by all the industry, or they are installing, which is new, and they have to come under this ETS scheme. And after the coming into ETS scheme, then you have to enter into the carbon credit scheme. Then you can buy, you can sell your carbon credits. So under this, it is on international level. So under this, you can see here international emission trading between only developed country, and under this scheme, allowance is based. Assigned amount unit when can be released, can be trade between two developed country only, like USA. So under this, and second one is the project based. Project based means any one country, one developed country will set up one another project which is a sustainable project, like solar PV project, or any metro rail project, etc. So in India, solar PV project is sponsored by USA and some other countries also, and metro Delhi metro and metro Delhi metro and metro. Can you please hello? Can you please? Someone hello? Is joined recently and they someone are. Is joined recently and they are. Can you mute yourself? Can you mute yourself? One is Das India. One is Das India. They are using. Can you mute? They are using. Can you mute them? One again. One more. One again. One more. So please, this should not be happen again. Please, this should not be happen again. And one is boy sir. And one is boy sir. See, I am requesting again. If I am requesting again. If you cannot take an exit. Please understand. You have to. Please understand. You have to mute your mic. Hello. Now I think. Hello. Okay. Now I think it's. Again, this is having some. Problem. Again, this is having some problem. Any other who are using? No, I think there is none. Okay, I think it's now it's okay. So now I am sharing. Please, whoever is using, please don't use mic because this will hinder, and also this will take more time to complete our session. So I request all the participants, please understand this situation. Otherwise, of course, you will means waste your time. Otherwise, others also. So now here under this scheme, project based. So there are only two conditions, two mechanisms are there. One is the clean development mechanism, that is known as CDM, under which one developed country is sponsoring a project in developing country. So something is happening. Can you see this screen? Can you type yes or no in the chat box? Screen is visualizing or not? Yeah, okay. So now the offset, I will discuss about the offset. So here you can see, just understand about this. Project based means two things are there. One is the clean development mechanism. In this one developed country like USA will sponsor a project under CDM in India. That is even not only in India, any developing country, like solar PV system or something. So this type of reduction will be carbon reduction unit, and this carbon credit is a type of currency, and these currencies are AAU, CER, ERU. ERU, emission reduction unit. In under emission reduction unit, joint implementation is there, and under this, one developed country can set up a project in another developed country. So project means two systems are there. One is CDM and joint implementation. Under CDM, one developed country can set up a project in developing country, and in under joint implementation, a developed country can set up another project in another developed country only. So by this, they can have a ERU, emission reduction unit. And some another term is offset. When you are going for CFP, then you have to understand offset. What is the offset? Offset means to null and void, means an emission reduction commonly resulting from the project undertaking in the developing world, a developing country, which has been sold to compensate emissions elsewhere or to the developed country, that is known as offset. And that commonly used to net off the emission, net off or avoid off the emission, so that organization can claim that to be carbon neutral. Can you tell any country who is carbon negative country in the world? There is only one country who is carbon negative till now. Can you type in the chat box any one name? Of course there is only one name. So can you type the name of country carbon negative or carbon neutral? This is not carbon neutral, that is carbon negative. Exactly, carbon neutral means zero, but that country is having carbon negative. This is not emitting, this is sinking. So can one type the answer? What is your response? So here one means method is latent flux method. It is only for understanding. By using a latest flux method, one can estimate the total carbon dioxide emission from any targeted area, from any manufacturing area or a industry or a society. So here you can see two type of bars are there, horizontal and vertical. Vertical bars indicate CO2 mixing ratio measured by an observation. Yeah, Bhutan is correct one. Observation network that surrounds the targeting area where forest or we can say peatland fire occur, means due to fire, because due to fire the CO2 carbon monoxide will be releasing in that area. So one can easily identify by using this latent flux method by factoring the difference in CO2 mixing ratio and at out and inflow. Here out and inflow, so at the inflow point, along with the flux of air mass, the total CO2 emitted from the area can be determined by using this method. This is one method. Here, already told about these three things are there. CDM and joint implementation of international emission trading. So under this one is the CDM. I already told that developed country can set up a project, sponsor a project, or sponsor a greenhouse reduction project in developing country. So this is type of green carbon credit. Carbon credit is only you have to calculate carbon footprint first. Then you have to convert all the carbon, means you have to convert all the greenhouse gases into the equivalent ton of carbon dioxide. And 1 ton of carbon dioxide is one credit, one currency, and that currency can be traded between the industries only for reduction or for net off or for offset. That is the means this type of currency can be traded between the industry only, because this is related to carbon emission or carbon reduction, a greenhouse gas reduction. So this carbon credit is a type of permit that allow a holder to emit 1 ton of carbon dioxide, which can be traded among the international market for at their current market price. This is for this means market price for carbon credit, one carbon credit fixed for 1 year. So and this is means for the next year, not for previous year. This is fixed for the coming year. So that is on the international level only. So one can buy, one can trade, means sell or they can buy between the industries. for carbon credit. So these can be purchased from another member nation who on the carbon credit or greenhouse gas quota, that they have no longer require alternatively new credit, they can be credited through financing a project or something to reduce the greenhouse gas. And under this scheme, one industry, one nation can sell, or we can say they can provide the carbon credit up to 50% only for the first time to the another country, and within the country they can sell 75%, or we can say they have to take 25% for their own, because they have, of course this is for next year only. We have to calculate this carbon credit or carbon footprint for previous year, and on that basis we have to estimate for the next year. So on that basis, or we can say analysis of the previous year, so we have to have a balance sheet, how much carbon credit is remaining or not. So on that basis, one carbon means one industry can buy, can trade among the industry, among other things. So now I am again discussing this. Here you can understand how these three things are the joint implementation, clean development mechanism, or emission trading. Here you can see the with example, under emission trading scheme, our international emission trading scheme is one developed country who needs carbon credit can pay something to develop another developed country, and can trade, can buy from this. Otherwise the one country can sell to another be developed country only. Means that trading under this emission trading is between only developed country. One developed country can sell or trade or buy to another developed country only. Under this scheme, this is known as AAU, assigned amount unit. Under CDM, that is clean development mechanism. Here you can see the developed country, one developed country who needs CC, that is carbon credit, can set a sponsor a project in another developing country. So under developing means any another developing country like India, means USA has sponsored so many projects, solar project, already told about that. Also this solar project on surface water bodies like lakes, even Tehri Lake is also under this. So number of project has been already sponsored for carbon under this CDM, clean development mechanism. So this country means developed country set up a project, sponsor a project in developing country, and by which they will earn a carbon credit, and this type of carbon credit is known as certified emission reduction, that is CER. So then this industry can sell, or this developed country can take this CC, carbon credit. Under another one, joint implementation. Here you can see one developed country. This joint implementation is between again between the developed and developed country. One developed country who needs CC set up a project in another developed country only. So by this type of approach, one industry means who set up or sponsored this project, that can earn carbon credit, that is known as emission reduction unit, ERU. So under this, and another scenario here you can see means for any even for the organization. So under CDM, here you can see for converting your scenario, your carbon dioxide or another type of greenhouse gas like your methane is or CFP, any other type of, then you have to first go for carbon footprint without CDM. Without CDM means your current scenario, whatever you are doing. So you have to calculate your baseline scenario for CFP. Then you have to sponsor a project under CDM, or after CDM application, after implementation of CDM, then you have to reduce your carbon by just difference between the baseline and your means after CDM. That means 1B and minus 2B. 1B minus 2B. 1B is what? 1B is the we can say your CFP when you are doing your actual scenario, and 2B is the after CDM implementation. So actually CER will be that is known as avoided emission, or certified means this can sell to any another developed country only, or to those country who have already sponsored. So this is on international level, and also this can be happen in the internal means in the country, within the country also. Here in India, the scheme is known as ETS, emission trading scheme. So for carbon credit, so here some points, major factors are there to understand, to go for a CO2 certification program. So for that CO2 certification program, one organization should be financially additional, because CFP is not a single, means it's not a simple approach to calculate CFP. So the person means, because this requires a huge fund also. So some certified agencies are required to do this activity. So for that purpose only, these organizations should be financially additional, and also they should be environmentally additional. Like this carbon credit cannot be claimed on one project basis only, and the industry should be permanent. This not should not be for 1 2 years, because this carbon credit, when this you will enter into the carbon credit scheme, then this will be permanent, because this is not for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. This is for permanent lifetime, and there should not be any leakage, because there is major risk in avoided deforestation project, where removal of one section or one attribute from the forest, forest product, or forestry, any type of attribute from the market, that encourage the destruction of forest in another country, another type of area. So this should be, means there should not be leakages. So that organization should understand about that, which type of project under CDM, which type of project under joint implementation they have to set up. And then at the last but not least, validation is required, because when we are going for CFP, or CFP, because the carbon footprint or carbon credit, then after calculation, you have to go for validation, you have to go for third party review, for verified saving, because you are entering into the scheme. So they will means the when you are going into this scenario, carbon credit scenario, then you'll ask for the third party review. So before going to that, you have to have a third party review again, and when you are going for third party review, then again fund will be required. So India, it is of course a developing country. So here only CDM, that is clean development mechanism for carbon credit, and we are meeting this type of requirement under, in means within the country. ETS scheme is there under this only, but under CDM means one developed country is sponsoring some projects. So here in Indian market is extremely receptive to CDM. We are accepting, we are establishing, like one DMRC, that is Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, is under CDM. Already told about solar PV systems, that is also under CDM. And some carbon credit players or traders are in India, like Tata Motors, Tata Steel Limited, Bajaj Finance, Dhariwal Industry Limited, Tata Powers Company Limited, Blue Star Energy Services Incorporation, Valera Global Incorporation, Reliance Energy, Rajasthan Renewable Energy Corporation, Madhya Pradesh Rural Livelihood Project, Indus Technical and Financial, many more industries are there in India. They are carbon credit traders, and they are already in carbon credit scheme. So anyone can enter into. This is not means, it is of course not mandatory till now, but now it is mandatory for first, for to declare their CFP, not enter into the carbon credit scheme. Mandatory is from ministry, under the specific TAR, simply then when we are, one industry or an investor is going for environmental clearance under EI notification, then some states are asking about carbon footprint. So there is a requirement to calculate the carbon footprint. They have to declare, and under ISO, already told about ISO is of course there is one requirement on international level. So you can go for that. If you are going for carbon credit scheme, then it is of course required. For that purpose, you have to enter into OCEMS and OCQMS, because these are two. One is OCEMS for air, OCQMS is for water. So you have to install their online continuous emission monitoring system, and after that you can enter into this carbon credit scheme. But carbon footprint, for carbon footprint, this is not required to have OCEMS or OCQMS, because without that also one can calculate carbon footprint. So there are three things. First, two main reason why this is important. So, importance is to manage the footprint and to reduce the emission over a period of time, and also to reduce to report the footprint accurately to the third party or to the government or to the regulatory agency is required to monitor the carbon footprint. So it is a useful exercise, a part of complete environmental management system. It should be presented in EI report also. And sources of data means from where we can take data. Data is already available with you. If existing industry, you can see you need to electricity, you need whatever they are using, fuel, transportation, commuting, disposal, waste disposal, water usage. So these are the major attribute of sources of data. You have to collect, gather the data. And for assessment of carbon footprint, there are some software. One is the Gabi software. We have provided the link. You can click on this link. Immediately will go to this screen. You have to fill your credential. You will after filling your credential, you will get one 30 days trial Gabi software, and also one SEMA Pro is there. So we are using SEMA Pro here. We have provided some calculators and softwares are there. Many softwares are available. Some are the free. You can download freely. Here you can see these are the numbers. And for calculating your carbon footprint by individual, like if I am wishing to calculate my footprint, then you have to go to this online calculator. Here you can click on this. You can see here. This is the online link HTML. So after clicking on this link, you will see you have to fill your detail. You have to fill about your house, your commuting behavior by car, flight, motorbike, bus, rail, whatever you are using. Some secondary data is required, and after that, this will give the result. I am just showing one another document by which you can understand how the means one can easily calculate, or simply you can say what type of information is there. Now you can see another PDF. Is it okay to see? This is visualizing by all the participants. The PDF is there, carbon footprint calculator. Are you watching this? Okay. So here you can see by clicking on the link we have already provided. You can go to this link. Immediately you will see here you have to put about how many people are there in your household under household section. So here you have to put your number of household, because you are, of course you are individual, but not the footprint is not individual. But means it is divided, but you have 3 4 people in your house, so total footprint will be there, and after that you can divide that. So first this will ask about your household person, how many, 3 4 5 or 10. Then how much electricity used by your household, because on that basis electricity is not coming in the bills as per individual. It is coming as per a flat or house. So you have to put about the how much amount is there, whatever in kilowatt you can fill. And after that means like here you can see the scale is also there, like small house, medium house, large houses, a hall or residence, anything whatever you are, like kilowatt hour is there. So you have to click on that, and after that you can convert the kilowatt into CO2, because there's online converters. Immediately this your kilowatt can be converted into the equivalent tons of carbon dioxide. Then this will ask about how much gas, natural gas, whatever you are using, used in your household, like gas consumption per day, per month, whatever you have. Then you can just tell about the greenhouse means the gas consumption. And after that is heating oil, coal, food, water, gas, or anything whatever you are using. Then you have to put yes or no. Then this will ask about how many cars are in your house. You can put 0 1 2 3 or 4, whatever you have. After that this will ask about the food behavior, like what type of food you are eating, like organic food, inorganic, whatever type. Personally you are eating meat or not, dairy products, etc. You are vegetarian, non-vegetarian, lacto-vegetarian, different type of vegan, different type of attributes are there. You have to put food miles, means like little very little about the foreign country, and you have to go to that, and you are taking food, so you have to put about that. And food packaging and processing, like you are using your processed food, then you have to put about like your average and not means very little or below the average. Then immediately this will convert the tons of CO2. And then this will ask about the composting, like how much do you compost potato peeling or left or whatever you are using. Then if you are not using, then you have to put none. Otherwise, you have to put the whole amount or some amount, something like that. Then this will convert into that. And then waste generation on average basis, how much you are generating waste. Then total food. Then about your education. Then your about journey by bus, journey by train, journey by flight, journey by whatever you means any some countries. So you have to put all these. Then about your personal, and after that this will here you can see this type of means result will be there. You have to print your summary. After putting all this detail, the total tons of carbon dioxide will be there, and after individual activity will be also shown. So you can see your individual footprint, and then you have to means this will this will ask tell about how you can reduce your carbon footprint if this is means more than the required. So that is one. So we have already told about this link. You can just click on that link. We have provided this link only on that basis. And now we'll discuss about carbon footprint monitoring. Means how we can prepare the carbon footprint report. Monitoring means the reporting system actually. For reporting system, you have to go for carbon emission monitoring first. That is recorded by OCAMS and OCQMS. OCEMS online continuous emission monitoring system for air, and online continuous quality monitoring system for water. That is wastewater exactly. So by this you have to record your real time data. This can be monitored under ETS scheme only by the GPCB and CPCB as well, like SPCB and the CPCB as well. Not only one state. Every state is monitoring this type of data. Your real-time data from stack is going displayed on state portal and as well as the national portal by the regulatory agencies. So you have to monitor that first. You have to ambient. You have to have result of ambient, and you have to have the result of your stack. And after that, you have to convert into the emission by using emission factor. Here you can see some emission factors are there, like for natural gas for heating, natural gas for cogeneration. Then factor is same, but in case of on vehicle, then the emission factor will be different. So, and then you have to go for inventory calculation. For inventory, after that you have to provide a relative footprint, mobility emission, stationary emission, paper consumption, whatever like office stationery, paint, whatever they are using, industry is using. Then you have to put amount of paper, water type of water analysis, which type of water they are using, from the groundwater, from the surface water, from the any regulatory like IDCs, sometime MIDC, GIDC, any type of IDCs they are supplying, our municipality area. Then you have to put, and after that, because on that basis you are not treating water, they means another person is treating on your behalf, so that energy will be avoided in your case. And for a waste you are generating, then that will be again added, like mixed product, mixed waste, or organic waste of paper waste or glass waste, something like that. Then you have to go for data center analysis. If you have, then yeah, they are using electricity, then you have to put, then you have to calculate whole emission, net emission. Then you have to compare the data, and after that you have to put the environmental indicators. And these advantages, more advantages of carbon credit scheme means this technology transfer from developed country to developing country under this Kyoto protocol, a carbon credit scheme only. And this better technology for companies or industries basically can change countries financial situation, because if they are under negative carbon negative, then they can immediately sell those carbon credits to developed country. And development of cleaner technology like under CDM, some benefits of environmental management, and also this is good alternative option for investment again, and this help in developing extra income. But some disadvantages also, sometimes this give false information, false sense of pollution, because sometimes we are just we have where we have a gap for data, then we have this we have to have this type of data will present falsely, and it is not regulated as of now. Even in case of AI notification or under any act, it is not regulated, only mandatory by the some committee agencies or governing agency only. So that is the disadvantage. Now this can be used as a carbon management or reduction of greenhouse gas. Here is the content of CFP report. You can see the carbon footprint report means how this looks like. Here a major 6 chapters are there. One is introduction, carbon footprint, objective. You have to decide your objectives and scope for carbon footprint. Then you have to go for calculation. After that you have to provide the mitigation measures, and after that you have to provide the conclusion. So now this is the sample objective you have to put, like in case of here in chapter 1 is about introduction. So introduction about the project only. So you have to put about the brief about project, description, location, and the manufacturing activity, what they are using utilities. And after that you have to put the environmental sensitivity of that area. And lastly but not least, but you have to provide a climate study like micrometeorology of that area or study area, or simply we can the city where your project site is located. And after that, second is the objective. So sample objectives are to study carbon emission during manufacturing operation phase, daily energy demand, peak demand, function of the product system, to set a system boundary for calculating carbon footprint. Assumptions, of course, because you have not properly data, then you have to make some assumptions. Carbon sequestering, carbon arrest to be provided. So these are the basic objective of CFP. After that, you have to go for methodology. Methodology, I have already told that you can calculate CFP by using software. Otherwise, you can go for means manual method. Will show how we can calculate the by using manual method. So here one emission source you have to identify for the first, that emission from employee, from as a from temporary permanent, from stationary source like your stack, process stack, or process vent, simply we can say, and your stationary vent stack, what type of fuel you are burning or you are going to burn. So you have to provide that data. Then you have to think about mobility emission, like by the means trucks are there, cars are there, buses are there. What type of means anything which is using diesel or means petrol for their commuting. Then you have to provide that type of data. Paper consumption, water emission, waste analysis, data center analysis. As per your applicability, means sometimes some industry, small industry, are not having data center, so we can skip that. Environmental indicators, if they have, then you can put as per applicability. For inventory, you can see here when inventory is given, means which type of inventory is there. You have to calculate every type of waste. I'm just reading, you can see, you can imagine everything it should be included. Like so first you have to give types like in term of their physical state and other classification, like solid waste, liquid waste, gaseous waste. We can put only when this is not coming or falling under a mentioned activity. We have to think first organic waste, plastic waste, metal waste, CND waste, agriculture waste, biomedical waste, e-waste. And after that, if not falling under these, then you have to go for solid, liquid, gas. And also then you have to think again that canteen waste is there. Then what type of canteen waste, like organic waste, or plastic waste, or metal waste, or CND, agriculture, whatever, then you have to put in that manner only. So again, type of waste are like packaging waste, office waste, broken glass waste, corrugated boxes, MS scrap, SS scrap, boiler ash, ETP slash, distillation residue of specification product, or simply say expired product in case of pharma, spent oil, MWE salt, carbon, high flow, discarded containers, barrels, hazardous waste chemical, used chemical, used oil, electronic devices, fuel, debris, horticulture, what type of then you have to put. And after that, you have to go for mobile sources. In case of mobile, you have to think about your trucks, cars, buses, car in term of petrol and diesel. Bicycle, you cannot add because bicycle is not using any petrol or diesel or any fuel to burn. So in case of cycle, if any person, any industry is using bicycle, then this can be in avoided terms. Avoided means offset. This is the type of offset, because bicycle is not emitting any greenhouse gas. So you have to calculate, you have to provide the number of workers for that. They are using bus or motorbike or car or trucks. And then you have to go for traveling distance, how much traveling distance per person per day. So you have to provide. After that, emission factor is there. In the software, if you are using software, then the emission factor will be there. This will immediately calculate your equivalent tons and convert into equivalent tons of CO2. If you are using your Excel sheet, means manual method, then again emission factor will be there. So you have to provide only the number of workers and traveling distance, and after that traveling per annum, they will calculate emission factor. This it is there, and this will convert in automatically into equivalent tons of CO2. E for equivalent, T for tons, CO2 is CO2. And carbon footprint for stationary. Stationary, then you have to have the type of fuel, like solid, liquid, or like pet coke, coal, or lignite, or any bagasse type of biocoal is there, fuel like your fuel oil, furnace oil, natural gas or means CNG, etc. Then you have to put type of, then quantity. Only two things you have to put. Then embodied energy, and this will convert into annum. The emission factor is there, and it convert into the total tons of equivalent carbon dioxide. And for paper consumption, there are two category. One is the office paper, and another is packaging paper. So under this, you have to provide the type of paper, which type of paper you are using. Then you have to provide a quantity, because different type of paper having different type of emission factor. So the quantity, so you have to provide in that. But emission factor is for one only for type of paper. Then again, you have to go for water consumption. Like water is water source, fresh water, recycled water, or reused water. Then you have to put in term of kiloliters per day. Then it will automatically calculate. You have to provide the operation days, 300, 360, whatever you are, 365. Then you have to provide the operation days. After that, this will convert automatically into equivalent tons of CO2 by using emission factor in that. And carbon footprint from waste generation, like liquid, solid, whatever we have already made inventory. So by putting the kilogram per month, this will calculate in tons of equivalent CO2. And for power consumption, like your captive power plant is there, thermal power is there, electricity board, electricity from ETP, for ETP or STP, solar panel is there, wind power plant is there, for data center, for control center, for hydroelectricity, etc. If you are using, then you have to put accordingly as per your requirement. Means by your industry, or simply the industry in question, you have to provide kilowatt per day, and this automatically convert into per annum. And then because this CFP is for 1 year, so always every time you can see per annum is there. So after means a year, one can think about. So emission factor will be there only, that is separate. So this will convert into tons of equivalent CO2, and then net total tons of CO2 from power from another one, and then net emission from your whole unit or industrial area in terms of mobility, stationery, paper, weight, water, waste, and electricity. Here you can see one chart is there. Like in this case, the carbon, most carbon are simply tons of equivalent CO2 is emitted from the stationary one. Here, this is the stationary one. In case other cases like mobile sources or some paper consumption or electricity used, so that is in only thousands. But in this case, you can see it reaches to 10 lakhs, 17 lakhs, something like that. So that is worst case scenario. By then you have to provide the mitigation measure. Mitigation measure, why? Because if you are reaching means having so much of carbon footprint, carbon emission, or simply we can say carbon greenhouse gas emission, then you have to go for reduction, greenhouse gas reduction. For that purpose, you have to provide mitigation measures here. In term of carbon sinking or carbon, we can say sequestering, air pollution control system, water pollution control system, if they are, and you have to put the role and responsibility. Also, this is already this making means economy of the country, because many things are there to discuss about. You can see here the scenario for one building. First, as I said, that you have to define your boundary. So here, in case of building, you have to already defined like sections are there. One is administrative building, development unit, service unit, welfare unit, whatever welfare or means the security cabin, etc. Then you have to provide the organization boundary, and after that, operational like stationary combustion, etc. Mobile combustion of the food waste disposal, like electricity, water usage. That is the operational boundary. And after that, you have to calculate every corner, everything. And here you can see energy production and consumption of foods. In terms of here it is already provided for financial year from 2007 to 2014. You can compare. Energy production is less, of course, and here some energy sectors are there, because this energy sector is going now, it is going under CDM, like solar and this wind. So these are the some organization who are energy producer, and some means renewable energy in megawatt. You can see biomass energy, solar energy, wind energy, and some small hydropower energy in ocean energies in the potential in our country. And certified emission reduction under this CDM project cycle, it is given. One, if you have interest, then you can move with this. This have a number of steps. That is one another practice, different type of discussion part. It will require more than 2-3 hours to discuss about CDM project cycle. So now I am ending, but I am just sharing one more thing. so that you can understand how one can calculate about the carbon footprint by manual method. By software method, you are aware about, means number of softwares are there, so one can easily calculate using software, because software having only, you have to provide the data, and by providing the data, immediately software will calculate all the things, and you will get your data, and graphical representation are in one number. But by manual method, you have to provide all the things, all the data, you have to carefully fill the data. Here you can see, first you have to provide the your organization for which you are putting. Can you see this excel sheet? Is it visualizing by all the participants? Can you type yes or no? You are seeing, watching this screen excel sheet? Okay, great. So here you have to provide the one name of organization, name of company, baseline year, because I said the cfp is for 1 year, so you have to provide for which year you are calculating. So like you are calculating for 2019, so then you have to provide 2019, 2017, whatever you are. Then total production, means capacity, production capacity. Then revenue, that is project cost, total revenue provided in that year only. So then you have to provide all type of fuel, 1 2 3, whatever they are using. So you have to put furnace oil, diesel oil, acetylene, lpg, refrigerant, co2, electricity consumed in kilowatt, electricity generated from the your windmill, whatever kerosene used or coal, whatever you are using. Then you have to put the quantity, and after putting quantity, you can see that means these things are there. And after then, you have to go for emission. Here real scenario, here it is. Here see, you can see this this screen means this excel sheet having drop down only. So you have to provide your fuel type, like furnace oil, lignite, naphtha, diesel, lpg, sko, petcoke, furnace, whatever type of fuel you are using. Then you have to suppose, here you can see, I am using furnace oil, right? And here already it is there 655, but I am not using furnace oil, so I will put 0. And after putting 0, you can see here it is 0. Is it okay, right? And I am using diesel, but it is about 300 kl, so now I am putting 300 kl. Emission factor is there, you can see the scenario has been already changed. The co2 emission will be from 300 kl is 792 tons in 1 year, right? And now I am not using lpg, so then I will put 0. So this will change. Here you can see this has been already missed. And in case of coke, means we have another fuel. One is the anthracite. So I am using anthracite. So anthracite will be in metric ton. So I am putting as 1200 metric ton per month, per year. So this will again you can see 3144 tons of CO2 is emitted during 1 year. And now I am using another fuel. Here it is like subbituminous coal. So again it will come. Here you can see after putting your means selecting your fuel, the unit will come automatically. Okay, and emission factor is also there. So you have to put, suppose I am putting 300 only. So emission factor is 1.8 for bituminous coal. Then immediately convert into and now I am changing this scenario up to this much. Now this is for 1 year. Then immediately you can see this much of amount has been emitted from this burning of bituminous coal. Okay, so immediately one can. Now I am going for traveling. So by truck, by means any car is of diesel operated, or your petrol operated, or CNG operated. You can see if your means closely see this. I am just zooming on this. Here you can see here in the car you can see diesel, CNG, LPG, petrol, CNG, auto, what type of truck, bus, whatever you are using, you have to select. Then you have to provide on two bases, like the type of fuel. Otherwise you can provide the distance travel. Means here you can see two things are there. One is the fuel used. If you are using fuel, then immediately this will come. Here I am putting and I am here selecting car as a petrol car, fuel used in 100 kg, then it will convert. Now I am changing this as a distance travel, then this will come in kilometers. Automatically this is changing, right? So this, suppose I am putting a 500 kilometer, so this will convert into directly into the carbon dioxide, equivalent carbon dioxide. So by this you can immediately put, by selecting drop down boxes are there, you have to put, and then you have to go for air conditioning systems. So again you can see here, this is the system. I mean, so you are using carbon dioxide, CFP 11, 12, 13, 113, 114, 115. These are the grades of CFC. What type of grade you are using? Because these grades having different type of emission factor. Global warming potential. So on this basis, you have to this Excel sheet will convert global warming potential by using your type of grade. So like here I am using CFP 13, then you can see the global warming potential is 14,000, and he for halon is only 1600, and you can see for HCFC is 1800. So as per selection, as per your selection, this will convert immediately. Like I am using 114, here you can hit 10,000. So it depends on, then your fire management system, then you have to provide here what type of kgs are there, quantity of CO2 makeup. So you have to provide like 5 kg or 25 kg, whatever you are using. Immediately if you put, then this will convert the potential carbon CO2 carbon equivalent carbon emission. Then you have to go under scope number 2, that is the electricity. So electricity from your grid or from wind of whatever, this is not avoided. This is from means you are using. And then if you are means generating, then you can put here in renewable energy, like energy, solar energy or any another type of, then you have, and now you can change means automatically, suppose I am just changing here, so this will change whole scenario, whole system will change. Here I am putting 0, then you can see again your system is 000. So and then lastly here you can see for transmission, passenger commute, freight transport, all these things are there. You have to provide your data. Then after that I am just have means I am just putting reversing rules, so that one can immediately go for that. Here I am putting this, and now emission summary you can see here, the total summary is this. And after that you will see for from fuel consumption, company or vehicle, fire extinguisher or fire from the refrigerator, whatever you have already provided. So you will get this type of map, what type of, and how much you have avoided emission offset by using renewable sources, then it will also show. And after that total emission will be like net emission will be difference from total to offset. Like total is about 21,000, but avoided is 9,000, then 21,000 minus 9,000, it will come about approximate 12,000. So metric ton SCO2 equivalent, that is as per the requirement. So that is one scenario where you can immediately calculate. And now one more thing to show, who are already working in this field or some want to start this type of. So we have one CFP report. One can easily understand. I think yeah, here it is. I am just giving some. No, it is not available with. Okay, I am just searching if you have time. Otherwise, you can ask your question in the chat box. Yeah, one question from. Can you tell any standard formula or equation we have to take calculating inventory emission IPCC? Yeah, already told about. I think the IPCC have all the emission factor. So on that basis, we have to calculate. So I am just showing this Excel sheet having this and means all the inventory. It is already there. But for data, it is not means any standard is not for data. Data you have to generate. You have to ask from your client. After asking from client, you have to put the data in the system by using manually or by using the software. If you are using software, then database is already there. Immediately by using software, one can put means one can easily get the maps and graphical representation. So that is depending on the things. And if we have another stationer, like if you are going for different system, I am showing 2 3. If you are having this type of question, then you can see every system, every type of sectorial, we have different segment, different this we can say Excel sheet. Here I am sharing one for here you can see this is for combustion of bituminous coal or some different type of here. So spreadsheet, like here you have to provide the data, which type of sector is there. You have to provide like energy sector, manufacturing sector, construction sector, commercial, institutional, residential, building, agriculture, forestry, or any other like fishery. So you have to provide your sector as per this IPCC has already provided the segments, the means data. So as per sector, you have to click on that. Are you visualize? Are you watching the screen? Excel sheet. Can you type yes or no in the chat box? Can you what means you are watching this right? Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great. So here, if you choose this commercial, then you will see what type of fuel you are using. And after selecting, you have to provide your like suppose crude oil you are using. Then what amount is there? So you have to provide
Yes,
only amount. And
yes,
after that, on this
sir. We
basis,
are.
let's see what type of unit is there. Like
Yes, yes. We are watching. We are watching.
hello, someone is asking. So I think you are now you are just understand. We are having only we have just entered about the data, how much amount of fuel we are using. So you have to put your sector, you have to put type of fuel, and after that you have to put only the amount of data, quantity of that fuel. And after that, suppose I am using another one, like now I am going for residential building, okay, and in residential building I am using gas, okay, and after that you have to provide coke oven gas or blast furnace. So here I am using gas work gas, right? So now I have to enter only amount, whatever amount you are using, and then you have to provide the this unit. And after providing unit, you can see immediately this will calculate, the whole CO2 CO2 emission, another gas emission like methane gas emission, and N2O emission is also. And after that this will calculate the total greenhouse gases in terms of carbon dioxide only. So we have to provide only the type of fuel, the quantity, not the quality. Quality is already fixed. Okay, Rinku Devi has asked about this question. Are you clear with this question answer? Are you satisfied with this? Software has same inbuilt, yeah. All software have the database, huge database. You have to provide the quantity only, and after that this will calculate automatically. In Excel sheet we have to provide means by manually one by one we have to put. But in case of software, if you put your data immediately, this will convert into, okay. Yeah, you can unmute your mic. Whoever want to ask question. One question from Thakur Vikram Singh. Why is it we are calculating CFP on CO2 basis, not other carbon pollutant film like CH like methane, CFP, etc. Okay. So see why this is important, because on under Kyoto Protocol, which is held in first Kyoto Protocol held in 1997, 16th February, and after that it is on 2012 again. And in that Kyoto Protocol or Kyoto means under the member nations, they have decided to reduce the carbon greenhouse gas emission only by this year, current year 2020, that 1.2 million tons greenhouse gas will be reduced. And then someone has to decide what to do. Means only one gas or any one parameter to be decided to have to take under consideration. So this carbon dioxide, it is of course CFP or some other. We have considered six. Even water vapor is also a greenhouse gas, right? I think you are aware about that. But under this, water vapor is not considered under this major greenhouse gas. There are only six greenhouse gases which is considered for potential greenhouse gases, we can say potential to climate change. So for that purpose, CO2 is the one gas which is very familiar to all the person, even layman. Layman also understand the CO2. And CO2, why again another question is for CO2 is because CO2 is sequestered by the plants. But in case of carbon greenhouse means this methane or CFC, that cannot be sequestered, that cannot be sink. So for that purpose only one standard to be taken, and for that purpose because CO2 have more potential to understand, more potential to provide the mitigation measure. So on those basis the carbon dioxide has been taken into consideration for under carbon credit scheme, not methane. And also you can see the car when we are going for the means just spelling of the name carbon credit, then start with the carbon credit only. So this having more similarity, but this is not reason that carbon credit is start with carbon, so we can take a carbon dioxide. No, that is not reason. Only two reason. One is this is most popular gas among all the people. Like you are aware about air quality index, but some are not aware about the soil fertility index. You are aware about AQI? AQI. What is AQI? Can anyone tell? Are you listening? Am I audible to all? Yeah. So this air quality index is most popular among all the parties, all the person. Even layman can understand what is AQI. Whether they are not exactly coming into well, like this, they are not aware with the technical term, but they are aware about air quality index of Delhi 400, 500, 1200. So that is the scenario. That is the popularity of that term. So CO2 is the most popular term, so for that purpose. And second, I already told that the CO2 is taken by the these carbons plants, and plants are the most important creature on the earth who sink the carbon, who use carbon dioxide. We can use for carbon sequestering the plantation only. So that these are two major reasons to take this CO2. First reason is only popularity of the word, so that one can easily understand. So now we are calculating whole six greenhouse gas emission into the equivalent tons of carbon dioxide only. Any other question? Okay, no problem. If you have another question, of course, after some time, then you can ask over WhatsApp. How does one question from Thakur Vikram Singh again? How does the carbon credit investment system affect CFP on developing country? See, developing countries are gaining somewhat in under CDM. Developed country have much concern to reduce their carbon this greenhouse gas, because they are already increased so much of carbon, are not carbon dioxide only, greenhouse gases. So they are sponsoring the project under CDM in developing country. So as for as a concern of this developing country only within the country, then here in India, if we are talking about India, then we have a system already told about this in the previous slide, that India have a scheme that is named as ETS. ETS is what? ETS is the emission trading scheme. It was launched in 2012 as a pilot scheme, and it is for three states. For three states for the first time. What are the that one is Gujarat, one is the Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. These are the three states from which in 2012 this scheme has been launched, and now it is applicable to whole India. So that is the major concern. So in developing country, they are gaining from this CFP. So under this carbon credit scheme, but I mean, like we have already told some players like Reliance Energy, they are also they are trading, they are selling their carbon credits to another developed country. So from this and from this scheme, developed country is gaining, and under this scheme only, the solar system, this metro rail having huge fund from the developed country. So they are sponsoring this type of project under the CDM only. Okay, Thakur Vikram Singh. Now I am just sharing my number. You can see here. It's 99909968953. You can ask on this, because we have to terminate this and this session. One question from Maha Gurda Gurda Lal जो भी हैं. Which country is less carbon emission in the world? I think it is. You have joined in the last of the session, I think. It is already asked to the participant and already told about this. Bhutan is a carbon negative country, even not neutral. Neutral means they have zero emission. But in case of Bhutan having the carbon negative country. This is sinking, not emitting. So that is one. If you have many other questions, then you can ask on WhatsApp. No problem. I can answer anytime if you have any question related to not only CFP, any other. We are conducting daily 2 3 webinars, online sessions. So you can yeah. Sorry. Thank you from Sikkim. Very nice to see you. Very nice. So, for means we are conducting regularly a different type of seminar, webinars, online session on environment production only, so that one can easily understand. They can pass to other persons. They can have concern about means about this environment, and we have to think about. Also, I am requesting again and again to all the participants that if you have time, if you have some time to read the AI notification, then just read this notification and send some responses to the industry, to MFCC ministry. Okay, one person from Jharkhand, that is Dr. Kausal Kishore. Very nice, very nice. So for that, if you are having interest in environment production, then we have a series of webinar. We have a series of different sessions. We are conducting two manner. One is the live webinar, like today we are interacting face to face. Another we have a live means one session on online. In that we have a lengthy program. So we have designed so that one can easily without having time. If you do not have a specific time to come to participate, then you can participate online. So immediately we can share the online links, web links. You can go to that link immediately. You can watch those video. You can read our PPT, and after that, if you have any question, then you can ask. There are three modes. You can ask over WhatsApp. You can call me directly. The number is there, and you can ask over email also. And we have created so many platform on WhatsApp also. Two three things, two three WhatsApps are also like one is Scientific India and webinar training on biome. So you can join that these groups, WhatsApp group. We are just circulating these information on those groups. One through I am from education background, but I learned so many. Okay, no problem. This is not for one means limited to any person. Environment is the entity which can be understood by every person and should be understand, because you are the responsible, we are the responsible citizen of this country. We have to take responsibility. We have to reduce the carbon emission, or simply we can say the greenhouse gas emission from our level only. From our when we are thinking about to reduce this greenhouse gas emission from our level, then we can initiate some other people, or we can means say to others that you have to reduce the carbon this greenhouse gas emission. Because if we are not doing this type of activity, then how we can expect from others? So first we have to do that. After that you can go beyond. So we have means interaction of this type of live webinars and online session. You can register. Registration fees is very so meaning is of course less. We are not offering sometime for free. But if you have means really, if you have interest in environment field, then of course I can give information, really some good information in this field. I'm not offering only certification, but I am offering good information to share with people, to share with the society, to do something. Not only we are wasting time, we are doing some activity which can be done at real sense. You have to do, you have to perform this type of activity for industry. We are doing this so many industries, more than 200 industries we have worked for. And after that we are working for some other country like Doha and other countries also, like for noise modeling, for air modeling, for land gem modeling, for this land use mapping. So we have different type of software also. If you need any type of modeling, then of course you can contact us. We have a good team, and we can immediately sort out your query related to environment or modeling or something related to this field. Thank you very much for today. Now I am ending the session, and tomorrow we have another session on means primary data collection at 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 to 1 in the noon, on primary data collection for soil. Then we have hydrology, geology, land use, then socioeconomic, ecology, biodiversity. If you are having interest, you are matching interest, then you can register by paying 500 only. The fees is 500. We release the certificate, PPT will share PPT also. Who if any person who have left or missed the session, then we can share the link also to watch again. So every means webinar is also recorded, so you can watch again and again, no problem is there. So now thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock.